G'day, it's Heath here from pickinglessons.com. In this mandolin lesson, we're going to take a look at how to build major and minor third intervals. So these major and minor third intervals, we use them when we're building triads and arpeggios. We can use them in double stops and use them in your improvising as well. So the major third sounds like this, and this is a minor third. There are several ways we can build these intervals, and we're going to take a look at those now. Let's start with the single string version of both the major and the minor third. The major third is built with two tones. So if we start at this G note here at fret 5 of string 3, that's our root note, and a major third is two tones above that, the equivalent of 4 frets. So that's up to fret 9, and that gives me a B note. So 2 tones for a major third. Now a minor third on a single string gives us a tone and a half. So in this case, fret 8, and that's a B flat. So major third, G and a B, minor third, G and a B flat. So our single string. Now that's great to see. We can build our arpeggios doing this. Let's put them on 2 adjacent strings, because when they're adjacent to each other, we can use them as double stops. So firstly, the major third, the G and the B, we can find the B note at fret 2 here on string 2. So notice the pattern, I'm holding that 5th fret and 2nd fret. 3rd string, 2nd string. These are movable shapes, so this is in G right now, but I could move this up a tone and that would give me A. It's the same interval pattern. So here's your major third in G, fret 5 and fret 2 there. To play the minor third interval on 2 adjacent strings, let's take the first finger and we're going to flatten it down, in this case giving us the B flat. So major third, first finger back a semitone, gives us the minor third. So single string, minor third, 2 adjacent strings, major third and minor third. So there's 2 ways of playing that major and minor third there, single string and 2 adjacent strings. Let's look at one more. This time we'll take our major third and we're going to keep our B note on string 2, but we're going to move our G on top of the B. So we've moved our G above the B note, so we've flipped the interval now, so our G is on top and B is at the bottom of the 2 notes. Same 2 notes though, still a major third, but we just inverted it. We can look at that interval in a different way. Let's just think of it as a major third. So G on top, but B underneath. Still has the same 2 notes for our major third interval. Now here, if I leave my 2nd finger on that G, our root note, and move my 1st finger back a semitone, that gives me the minor third interval. So major third, minor third. Let's quickly go through those again. So single string, major third, minor third, 2 adjacent strings with root note on the bottom, major third, minor third. And then with our root note on top, there's our G there, so there's our major third and our minor third. Seeing where those are is really useful. So as we move around the neck, and if you know you've got an A here at fret 7 and you need to have an A minor sounding passage in what you're playing, you can go into that minor third straight up, or put the A on top, or go to the single string. So those intervals are going to be constant as we move around the mandolin neck. If you head to pickinglessons.com, you will find the first part of this course, the Fretboard Freedom course. The links are here in the description. And if you go to pickinglessons.com, you'll find the first part of the Fretboard Freedom where we learn and talk about the notes on the fretboard. So if you're not too sure of what notes where, have a look at that lesson. And then there's another lesson there, the octave pattern. And the octave pattern is really useful, so we can start to find, if we know where a G is, we can find another G, all over the place, and that works for all your notes. So the Fretboard Freedom course at pickinglessons.com. So this is the 3rd installment. Now the second part of this lesson, we're going to take a look at how to stack these intervals. So we can stack these intervals to build arpeggios and to build our chords. So when we take a major third and a minor third and bring them together, we get different chord sounds, and depending on the order of those thirds, we'll have a different structure for our chords. Have a look at these major and minor thirds, get your fingers around them, learn the different intervals and how we can play them over the neck. So the major third and the minor third. Really useful when you're trying to improvise or build double stops and you're working your way around the fretboard of the mandolin. It's really important to understand this. Okay, so the major and minor thirds. If you do head to pickinglessons.com, you find a worksheet with all this information. We'll talk about stacking these intervals into major and minor triads and into a dominant seventh chord as well. So we're using these major and minor thirds to do that. Okay, really useful for when you're improvising. So major and minor thirds, check it out, and I'll see you at pickinglessons.com.